Close your eyes for a moment and think back to the last dream you remember. Who was there with you? A close friend? An old enemy? Or maybe a stranger whose face you couldn't quite place? Dreams have been a source of fascination, fear, and wonder since the dawn of human consciousness. Ancient Egyptians believed dreams were messages from the gods, sent through a hidden portal between worlds. The Greeks built entire temples where people would sleep, hoping for divine guidance in their dreams. Even today, in our modern scientific age, dreams remain one of the great unsolved mysteries of the human mind. Sigmund Freud famously called dreams the royal road to the unconscious, believing they revealed our deepest repressed desires. Carl Jung took this further, suggesting dreams connect us to a collective unconscious, a shared library of human experience. But what does modern neuroscience say? Cutting-edge research now suggests something even more fascinating, that dreams may function as a virtual reality simulator for our social lives. This is known as social simulation theory, and it proposes that our brains use dreams to rehearse interactions, process emotions, and prepare us for the complex social world we navigate every day. Think about it. In your dreams, you argue with bosses, reconcile with lost loves, escape from pursuers, and meet mysterious strangers. These aren't random scenes. They're carefully constructed social scenarios that mirror your waking concerns, fears, and aspirations. Today, we're going on a deep dive into this hidden world of social dreaming. We'll explore why friends appear in dreams and what these encounters really mean, the unsettling phenomenon of dreaming about enemies and foes, the mysterious role of complete strangers in our dreamscapes, and the fascinating science that explains why we dream about people at all. Along the way, we'll examine real case studies, psychological research, and even some historical examples that reveal just how powerful these dream encounters can be. By the end, you'll never look at your dreams the same way again. So let's begin this journey into the nighttime theater of the mind. Our first stop, dreams about friends, those familiar faces that populate so many of our sleeping hours. Dreaming about friends is perhaps the most common social dream experience. These dreams can range from joyful reunions to painful conflicts, but they all share one thing in common. They're telling us something important about our waking relationships. Let's start with the neuroscience. During REM sleep, when most vivid dreaming occurs, your brain shows remarkable activity in areas associated with social cognition. The medial prefrontal cortex, which helps us understand others' thoughts and feelings, becomes highly active. Meanwhile, the amygdala, our emotional center, lights up as well. This creates the perfect conditions for replaying and processing social interactions. A groundbreaking 2019 Harvard study tracked participants' social interactions and dream content. The results were striking. People who had more positive social experiences during the day dreamed more about friends, while those with stressful interactions had more dreams about social conflicts. Even more fascinating, the study found that people who were socially isolated began dreaming more intensely about social connections, almost as if their brains were compensating for what they lacked in waking life. But why does this happen? Evolutionary psychologists suggest this may be part of how we maintain our social bonds. In our ancestral past, strong social connections meant survival. Dreaming may have served as a way to strengthen these bonds when physical interaction wasn't possible, a kind of nocturnal social practice that helped early humans maintain group cohesion. Case Study 1. The recurring dream of a lost friendship. Consider Sarah, a 28-year-old teacher who kept having vivid dreams about her childhood best friend, Emma. In these dreams, they were teenagers again, laughing together at their old lunch table. The dreams felt so real that Sarah would wake up disoriented, half expecting to see Emma beside her. The strange part? In reality, they hadn't spoken in nearly a decade after a slow drifting apart during college. Sarah began keeping a dream journal and noticed a pattern. These dreams intensified during periods of stress or loneliness. Through therapy, she realized the dreams weren't just about missing Emma. They represented a longing for the unconditional acceptance of that childhood friendship. The dreams were highlighting what Sarah felt was missing in her current relationships. That easy, uncomplicated connection. After 6 months of these recurring dreams, Sarah decided to reach out. To her surprise, Emma responded warmly. They met for coffee and discovered they still shared that old connection. Interestingly, after this real-life reconnection, Sarah's dreams about Emma changed. They became less frequent and less emotionally intense. This case beautifully illustrates how dreams can sometimes prompt us to address unresolved relationships. Case Study 2. The Dream, where a friend betrays you. Now let's examine a very different kind of friend dream. Mark, a 32-year-old financial analyst, began having disturbing dreams where his closest friend Jake was stealing from him. In one particularly vivid dream, Jake was secretly taking money from Mark's wallet while pretending to help him look for it. Mark woke up furious and confused. In waking life, Jake was one of the most trustworthy people he knew. When Mark explored this in therapy, he made a fascinating discovery. The dreams started around the same time a new colleague joined his team at work. Someone who was overly friendly, but whom Mark instinctively distrusted. His subconscious had apparently used Jake's familiar face to represent this new, untrustworthy presence in his life. The dream was Mark's mind's way of working through his professional concerns using a familiar social template. This phenomenon is known as dream displacement, where emotions about one person get transferred to another in dreams. It's particularly common with people we're close to because our brains have such well-established neural pathways for these relationships. Common friend dream scenarios and their meanings. Dreaming of happy moments with a friend often reflects gratitude or nostalgia. May indicate a need to reconnect or appreciate current relationships. Example: dreaming of laughing with a friend you haven't seen in years might signal loneliness or a desire for simpler times. Arguing with a friend in a dream could signal unresolved tension in the relationship. Might represent internal conflict, such as guilt or jealousy, projected onto the friend. Example: dream fights with a friend after you've been feeling competitive with them. A friend ignoring you in a dream may reflect feelings of neglect in waking life, could indicate fear of losing the friendship. Example: dreaming a friend walks past you without speaking after they've been distant lately. A friend in danger or dying often represents anxiety about the relationship changing, might symbolize your own feelings of vulnerability. Example: dreaming a friend is lost in a storm when you're both going through major life changes. Psychologist Dr. Deirdre Barrett of Harvard Medical School explains, friend dreams are like a nightly check-in on our social world. They highlight what's working in our relationships and what needs attention. The key is to look not just at who appears, but at the emotions you feel in the dream. So the next time you dream about a friend, try this exercise. Recall the dominant emotion in the dream. Consider if you've felt this way recently in waking life. Ask if there's any unresolved business in this friendship. Think about whether the friend might represent something beyond themselves. This simple analysis can reveal surprising insights about your waking relationships and emotional state.